Ah. Hello, my sweet, dear, magical friends, my strong, beautiful people. Welcome, willkommen, to our discussion today on the astrological energies of the Libra solar eclipse happening October the 14th, 2023. And we are also going to take a look at some shielding things to kind of help navigate through this eclipse portal. So the eclipse, hello, welcome, willkommen. So I define a portal as this sort of two-way energy exchange. So things go through the portal that you send through, and you're supposed to receive something from the portal. Okay, it's like going back and forth. When you put into something that you think is a portal and don't get anything back, it's a black hole. It just okay, it just like gets all sucked up. So we're going to talk about some of the shielding things to sort of protect you against that, protect you against some of the, I'm going to wash it. I really will. I ordered the shampoo. It gets here Thursday, tomorrow, so it'll get washed soon. So that's what we're going to get into the some of the shielding things. And I first go to Morgan and thank you so much. Yeah, I did some TK practice yesterday and then I just woke up feeling like I got hit by a train. So I missed I have like a very long 3 to 4 hour morning for myself and I slept right through that this morning. So I had to go right into what would have been like hair and makeup, but kind of just put it on the makeup today. So, but yes, had my caffeine opens the blood vessels. Thank you. So, and I am going to stop talking about that because I feel like that's such a, like, oh, Anyway, so, all right, this solar eclipse happens October the 14th. I want to talk about the build up to this, though. So I want to talk just briefly because you may or may not have seen the weekly that kind of builds up to the eclipse, and then maybe you won't see the next weekly that, talks about it too. So I'm going to put it in this video. So the build up, today is Wednesday, October the 4th, and then we have like a week and a half until the eclipse happens next Saturday, the 14th. Today, Mars in Libra, Sun in Libra, Mercury in Libra. We have a lot of Libra stuff, but the most, Mercury's going to enter Libra later today. The big thing about today, about Wednesday the 4th, and the build up to the eclipse is that Mars is crossing the South Node. And the way I've been seeing it and having it, watching it play out in the lives of my clients and things is that it's mostly bringing up a lot of unconscious content, in our approach to relating, in our relationships with other people, and any of the bad habits that we have had are kind of coming up. And I talk about this in the monthly for all 12 zodiac signs on the Patreon. But if there is like a habit or pattern, especially when it comes to being defensive or using any like strong energy, that will fall flat. That'll fall flat, and it won't satiate you. It won't feel good to really go to bats for something, or if you think that you are being defensive or fighting for something or against, like it's a little bit strange. Like it's you either realize that maybe there's something weird about it where it's either not real, like the conflict isn't real, it was kind of all in your head, and you kind of realize that when the other person has like a reaction that you didn't expect, or it's like the wrong time, the wrong place, or it's like inappropriate in some way, shape, or form because it's Libra. And what I like about this, though, is that it is purging out a lot of that mentality. So the mentality of sort of going along to get along, you may feel like I should say something or I should do something, and you want to keep an eye on that because you can still do that. It's just in a different way. It just won't be like in a Mars and Aries way where you just like burn down the village. It'll have to be in the Mars in Libra way, but with crossing the South Node, it can't be the lower vibration of Libra. It'll have to be the higher vibration or bust. Okay. Now, what I do like about all this Libra energy is that it is an increase in diplomacy and tact and etiquette, professionalism, good customer service, okay? Customer service to yourself, to your family members, to your coworkers, to everyone in your professional sphere, just like everyone in life. So that's what I mean, like even the good customer service to, you know, your family at the dinner table. One of my favorite things to ask is, you know, what was your favorite part of the day? And have everyone go around and talk about what was your favorite part of the day. You know, just or if you're going to the kitchen, you know, clearing everyone's plates, you know, can I take your plate? I'm going there anyway. Just like these little ways that we can show appreciation and respect and thoughtfulness. So, you know, maybe make a little difference. Like thoughtfulness is kind of anticipating like a future problem or an inconvenience and just being the solution or just doing the solution before it gets there. That's thoughtfulness. It's not like anxiety or worry or stress or fears. So that's like low Libra, where you're like analysis paralysis and you can't decide on something, or you keep doubting yourself, or, you know, so today is very, very subconscious. And I don't know about you guys, but I woke up, I feel the eclipse portal. The eclipse season always feels very surreal and strange and weird, just really weird. And like time speeds up. Things that should take 4 months can happen in a week. And like it's like a very weird, eerie time. And I felt like that waking up this morning. So it's the air leading up to the eclipse is edgy, is what I'm trying to say. It's almost like we can feel change coming. And this video is going to just prepare you to embrace it and embrace with confidence and like a really good head on your shoulders about it. Today is also a lot happening today. Black Moon Lilith will move into Virgo, and Black Moon Lilith played a very big part in this entire summer's Venus retrograde in Leo. So fears are ready to be like evaporated, really letting it go, moving on. This week the week and a half leading up to the solar eclipse in Libra is a lot about it's kind of wrapping something up with the past. So like the power struggle that we're gonna move into the weekend with, which I'll talk about next, is not anything new. It's nothing new, so don't be afraid of it, because it's something that you've been dealing with. It's something that's been ongoing. It's something that's been bothering you, or something that's just been like an issue. So it's like we're just gonna wrap it up. We're just gonna wrap it up, and then it clears a space for this huge new beginning. Big fresh start for us. So, you know, today I would practice detachment today. That Mars, I think Mars is crossing the South Node like right now. Like it's very happening. So I'm glad that I made it online. But you know, it's a drain. The South Node's like a sink drain. So it's a great day to throw things down the drain that are no longer appropriate to your current level of development. And like for some people it's relationships, like letting go of relationships or attaching to certain people. But listen, don't be afraid of these eclipses and these relationship signs. If you have a great relationship, if you're in love, if you are having your needs met, if you are able to fulfill the needs of the other person's expectations, if everything's good, then it's going to be something else. It'll be different relationships that are affected. So don't like fear spiral about your relationships. In fact, this should improve relationships through, catalyzing great changes. Okay, so today Mars crosses the South Node, very subconscious stuff that we're letting go of and releasing, specifically actions that we take in relationships and how we act within, for, about relationships. And this is kind of like committed relationships. So your business partners, your marriage partners, and anyone that you are in agreement with some kind of like, okay, this is what I'm bringing, this is my skills, talents, and abilities, and these are my expectations. Okay, these are my skills, talents, and abilities that I'm going to give in, and these are my expectations. And you come to the agreement, you meet in the middle, and it's all holding hands, singing kumbaya. So yeah, so don't be afraid of like today. Let Mercury's finishing up this, they're the sign that they were retrograde in, and Virgo, going to be entering the sign of Libra, which is going to really help communication in relationships, to discuss these things, to discuss expectations, to discuss boundaries, to discuss needs, to discuss where we can meet in the middle, because a negotiation is never like just go. This is what I learned when I was doing the negotiation in LA. I heard someone say that one of the lawyers for our side, learned a lot from these people. Love picking their brains. Always ask people that you respect for like book recommendations or something, because what are you reading is always what I want to know. But they said that negotiation is not just going to the grocery store and putting whatever you want in the cart and then just like leaving. It's you have to make like, the successful negotiation is when both people walk away unhappy, because you're going to give, you're going to concede, you're going to compromise. But when you feel like the other person, the other side, has compromised the same level that you have compromised, that feels fair. And you can respect that. You can respect that in yourself. You can respect the concessions and the compromises that the other side is making. Like, okay, we're both going to bite the bullet here. We're both going to make the same sacrifices, the same level. Only when that's uneven. So I'm calling this video, this eclipse, spanking our scales. So only when that feels equal for both sides, that's when you're good to go. That's very fair, getting the same things, but also sacrificing on a similar level. Because when you feel like you're sacrificing more than the other side, that's going to be a problem. That's going to be like a little seed of resentment. So if your relationships are happy and they're great, you're going to be fine. But if there are fractures in your relationships, the eclipses are going to like put like pressure on those fractures. And even if that's the case, it doesn't mean it has to end. Something has to end. Maybe the toxic part, or the unclear part, or the wounded part has to end, and something else has to the healthy thing has to take its place. So only when that cannot happen will it end. That's all. So, okay, so that's today. Mercury tonight moving into Libra will very much help, like I said, talk about this stuff. Talk about it in a detached manner, because it's an air sign. So it's more about the idea of love, the idea of commitment, the idea of what this relationship is, the idealized vision of what this could be, and making the promises or having the discussions that will allow that to manifest. And maybe changing our minds about, the part that we play in the process, just making it very equal. I don't have like strong Libra in my chart, but I do have a seventh house stellium. So when you have a stellium in your chart, that's like your whole chart. There's nothing else. But the house that stellium is in gives you like an affinity. So I have like a Libra affinity is what I would say. So balance is important. All right. So the last weekend before the eclipse weekend, Saturday the 7th, Sunday the 8th. Sunday the 8th is when we have Mars in Libra squaring Pluto and Capricorn. Venus moves into Virgo. I'm excited about that. Okay, so the power struggle. I want to reframe your attitude and your mentality about what this power struggle could be. Because remember, we're wrapping up the past before we really launch liftoff. So it's familiar. You already have been dealing with something, dealing with these issues. And like I said in the weekly, Mars is acting on behalf of Venus, but Venus is about to jump ship anyway. She's about to like have a new priority. So it's like Mars and Venus both going up against Pluto and losing. Okay, so like, and I'm not saying don't fight for your boundary or anything. I'm saying that it's like, and it doesn't have to be like, some big blowout with your spouse or something, or, divorcing your commitment to your best friend and they hate you forever. It's like, it could be something like bringing home a new baby. And I'm gonna run with this. I'm gonna run with this. Adam's Family Values. Ugh. Gomez and Morticia are like my favorite on-screen couple like ever. Okay, but take that movie, Adam's Family Values. They gonna bring the new baby home, and what do Pugsley and Wednesday say about that? We're gonna kill him. Is that not the most? That is this. That's this. That's that attitude of that. They're like sharpening their knives. This week they're sharp. The baby comes home on the eclipse. This week and a half leading up to it, they are sharpening their knives, getting ready to freaking off this little baby. Right? That's such a good movie. So that weekend, the 8th, that would be like that would be like, Wednesday and Pugsley having like the biggest fit about it, being so like jealous and hateful and angry and violent and like winning at all costs and trying to like, I don't know, force the parents to give it up or something, or like give it away or throw it in the river, like, and they just feel so threatened by the new baby, the Libra new baby, sparkly Elizabeth Taylor Libra new baby, right? Except in the movie, it was like really great movie. But that weekend would be like Pugsley and Wednesday trying to like sabotage, Morticia's hospital bag or something, like just, and so it's like the new baby's coming, and then it's like how you gotta wrap this up. Like, okay, Wednesday, Pugsley, bruh, like we've been 9 long months of like telling you we're gonna have a new little baby brother, telling like it's coming, all right, you gotta just like chill out, and it's coming. That weekend, mad grabs for power, okay, and that's why it's gonna lose, because that would be like that's so cute. So like Mars and Venus would be like Pugsley and Wednesday, and then Pluto would be like Gomez, or Morticia, the parents, right, the bigger authority. So, it could be something like that, because there is something happy. There is something that you're like looking forward to. There are really great relationships, and even like the hard, scary changes in your existing relationships are going to level them up, and you're going to enjoy them even more. So it's like maybe Pugsley and Wednesday, there's someone that has like this big blow up about what's to come, but it clears the air, and it makes way for the baby to come that is like in a welcome environment. I mean, in the movie, they're just like trying to kill the baby the entire movie, but the baby just stays alive. But, it's very much that weekend could be, that's what it could feel like for some people, where they're just like tweaking out, and they're, or it could be, on a more like a realistic level, it could be something like, you have a crush. You've been watching your crush this entire summer, longing and desiring and yearning for this crush, and then that weekend you stalk their Instagram, and you see a picture of them with like not you, as someone that's like not you, and you just have like a, why did I waited too long, why, no, it could be like that crunchy, powerless kind of resenty, difficult, hard, feeling. But maybe it makes you a better person to, maybe you learn about dating, or you learn about people, or you learn about the opposite sex or something, So it wraps this week, the lead up is wrapping something up. Wednesday the 11th, and I'm kind of just going over the highlights leading up to the eclipse. Wednesday the 11th, we have Mars entering into Scorpio, Pluto stationing direct. So it just kind of heats up. And I feel like this could be very exciting and have a lot of excitement to it. Mars in Scorpio is awesome. Like, and that's another thing. Like, Mars is about to, it's like, it's like Pugsley and Wednesday just they realize they're not going to win this one, and they just move on. Both of them will move on. Wednesday moves on, Sunday the 8th. Pugsley finally gives up and moves on, Wednesday the 11th, and then we get then the baby can, the brand new bright little baby can come, and everybody's fine. We're gonna get to that too. But so this week leading up is a great time to like release and let go and um, let yourself be changed. Let the truth change your life. And if, all right, let's talk about the eclipse. Let's just go right into the eclipse now. All right, so this eclipse, let me bring up my little, I'm taking this from the October 2023 𝚃𝚑𝚗𝚎 astrology journal. It is so freaking cute. Oh, I had so much fun making this. All right, so some of the signatures about this eclipse. Mercury conjuncts the eclipse, Saturn opposes Venus, Saturn trines Mars, and Pluto squares the eclipse. Pluto trines Saturn, Chiron opposes the eclipse, Lilith conjuncts Venus. Oh, that's right. Okay. Well, that's going to be a thing. Forgot about that. Briefly forgot about that. All right. So Mercury being with the eclipse is actually going to also be a signature of the Taurus lunar eclipse. It's going to be part of that as well. And again, discussions and talking about things and, you know, really, oh, is it lagging? Why is it lagging? No. Is it because of that? It shouldn't be lagging since I don't have the thing up. Okay, so Mercury being part of this eclipse is going to really initiate the discussion, you know, bringing the thing up, talking about these relationship things and issues, and positively, it's going to also encourage and promote honest discussions. Okay, if you're channeling this, you know, appropriately, honest discussions and negotiations. This is really interesting for contracts, for legalities, for this is a little bit more positive with Mercury, I feel like, being in Libra. And like I said, it's going to carry through to the lunar eclipse closer to Halloween. The bigger thing, though, is Pluto T-squaring this eclipse. Pluto's been T-squaring the nodes of fate and destiny since like summer. I think like late July, maybe, I think July, but maybe late July. And this is a little bit the test of your self-mastery, the test of your self-control, the test of your self-trust. Because anyone sort of trying to maintain the status quo with the older power structures, you're going to render yourself irrelevant by next year. So you have a choice at this eclipse. And there is a like a replacement thing that has to happen, where you need to replace something unhealthy about relationships, your approach, how you behave, how you think, how you act in relationships, and instead put in place healthier, happier, more balanced habits and motives and attitudes in relationships. That's how you know you're going to do this successfully. And it's going to be building it over the next 2 weeks, but culminating in 6 months. The North Node is in Aries, so it's a new moon, it's a new beginning, but with the South Node. So that's why I say that, is that it does need to have some kind of release. There's a release mechanism, and I'm hoping that it's the release of judgment, because that's something that I've seen like the last couple days leading up to today, and it's probably going to be a thing maybe until Mars leaves next Wednesday, of subconscious judgments harming people, subconscious judgment, because Libra's judgy, and it's supposed to be judgy, but it needs to be correct, you know, it needs to be the right judginess. So what I'm seeing is a drain of subconscious, unhealthy subconscious ways of judging people, and letting go of the self-sabotage that happens when your subconscious takes over and makes these judgments when you don't have the right information or enough information, or there's bias involved, you could really harm yourself that way. You know, Pugsley and Wednesday, they don't know this new baby. They just, you know, they're just prejudging the whole experience before giving it a chance. And that's the wrong thing to do. So Pluto in Capricorn squaring this eclipse is going to give you the option, and it will be depending on your level of self-mastery of what option you kind of go with. You can go with the more, you know, unhealthy judgments of maybe something from the past. Like, I can see people like falling into past issues and falling into, I'm just trying to fix the lag here. So I'm sorry, closing these tabs out. I'm a tab person. I like a lot of tabs and reading a lot of different things and blah, blah, blah. So ideally, you will not fall into the traps of the past where it was really comfortable for you to cast these judgments and kind of walk away and just, you know, stay in your own like cognitive bubble of reinforcing your own biases and beliefs. Hopefully this is, you make a choice to be very open-minded. But the challenge will be to trust yourself with the North Node in Aries, where you get to overpower something that, like, the judgment can be very superficial with this Libra energy. People could be caring very much about status and appearance and money and goods and material possessions and like social capital and you know, swaying people to your side, but kind of like in a manipulative way. So I have a few things. I have five things to help with that. So these are also very Libran ideals and very Libran things to say. So number one, I apologize. Number one is to know your worth. You possess an intrinsic value that cannot be diminished by external circumstances or the opinions of others. And Libra cares so much about external circumstances, cares so much about the opinions of others, and cares so much about external validation. So that's going to be one of the traps to avoid at this time. Do not yield to fears of loss or lack of respect, social status, opinions of others, or any kind of external validation. You will become a slave to that fear. Don't yield to that. It's beneath you, it's below you. You don't need to do that. And it's a choice that you make. It's a choice that you make to fear that you're going to be ostracized by your community, to fear that you're going to be having to defend yourself because of a life choice that you're making. Build up your inner worth in developing your character, your values, your virtues, your inner qualities, who you are. But you have to acknowledge it. When you acknowledge your inherent worth and really valuing yourself, enjoying yourself, loving yourself for this, you become less susceptible to manipulation and exploitation. You're no longer driven and motivated by fear of losing these external validation things, or fear of losing material possession. You're no longer like steered, you know? So, but that only happens when you acknowledge and really feel your intrinsic self-worth. So really knowing your worth, knowing your value as a unique individual, separate from everything else. Number two, define your values. You like really consciously think about this. You know, 𝚑𝚃𝚗 is truth, love, and integrity. Really define your values. So aligning your actions. So when you define your values, it's easier for you to align your actions to your core values because you know what they are, because you define them to yourself. This is going to make you stronger against manipulation, because this is a very like Pluto's squaring this, and with the Lilith and Venus, like it's just people will try to exploit your own vulnerabilities to use that against you. So this is what I'm trying to help you guys really close out any of this self-esteem issue before you get to the eclipse. So I'm trying to help you like settle down Pugsley and Wednesday to make room for the new baby. So when your values are clear to you, it's easier to make decisions that align with your authentic self. So when you see on TikTok or Instagram memes saying like, oh, live your best life, be your authentic self, and you're like, what does that mean? How do I do that? That's how you do that. You define your values. You sit down, you really think about your life. You think about what you want, where you've been, where you want to go. You think about what makes you happy. You think about what it's really about, and you define your values. And then it's easier for you to align your actions to those core values. And that makes you feel like you are your authentic self. That makes you feel like you are making decisions that align with your authentic self because you've thought about it. And it will help you resist actions that compromise your integrity. So you have to know what your integrity is first. So really take this. I would recommend maybe after Mercury into Libra to like for relationships. But resist action. It'll help you resist actions that compromise your integrity, and that defining your values helps you live the life of authenticity and strength because you define it for yourself. Number 3. Oh wait, so I had to turn the page over. When you consistently act in harmony with your values, that's when you gain a sense of purpose and inner peace, and that cannot be disrupted or disturbed or manipulated or taken away from you or changed or altered, because you're really thinking about it, and it's a consistent, part of your life, and it gives you that settled groundedness feeling. Okay, number 3 is the boundaries. All right, so setting those boundaries with this Libra eclipse, it's going to be crucial because this Pluto's T-square is going to be, there's like an outside threat, or there's a fear, or there's something that is threatening your self-mastery. And maybe it's an external person, maybe it's an event, maybe it's a circumstance, or maybe it's like a thought in your own mind that you have a difficult time changing, but it's something. So if you are in conflict, you've manifested that person or circumstance or situation because you're trying to reconcile something within you. So even if it is an outside external thing, really still take a look at, what am I trying to get over? What am I trying to really work through in this conflict with another person? Because there should be no stay away from conflicts. So, okay, so it is 100% within our power to define and enforce our personal boundaries. That's on us, 100% on us. By doing so, we protect our mental and emotional well-being from external influences that want to exploit us. So again, being very conscious and definitive in what your boundaries are. Where are they? When you're getting to know someone, when you're in a relationship, when you're in a business partnership, a long-term business partnership will still need maintenance. A long-term marriage will still need maintenance. So always remember that you are like a unique, separate individual. That that is going to be what keeps you in that long-term successful partnership in business, in marriage, with your family, best friends, whatever it happens to be. And it will help protect you against getting into entanglements or relationships and connections with people that will, like I said, seek to exploit your own internal weakness to use against you. So for instance, this is a very like this solar eclipse in Libra with the T-square from Pluto is like, this could even be with your, just close this whole thing. This is really bothering me. I'm so sorry. Like if you are, how do I put this? Okay, so it's just easier to speak from experience. So the way I kind of act and behave with billionaires, mentors, and employers like that I respect, it's the same across the board with all of these people. Um, I don't say anything. Like, I don't ask any questions. I don't bother them. I keep the interactions extremely, extremely minimal out of respect. And there's only etiquette and professionalism and kindness. And, I go ask everybody else. I will Google till I'm dead. I will really look for the information absolutely everywhere else. And I only go and ask a question if it's very much like an only them thing can answer. And um, here's the thing with that, is that in my experience with these people, with these kind of people, the way they've been with me is the exact opposite. They've always been gracious and kind and giving and open and available and supportive and encouraging. However, it's on me and it's on you, it's on every one of us as an individual to respect the boundary. So just because, someone is so kind and kind of generous, it's up to you to respect the boundary and not try to like get as much of their attention as possible, or try to ask for, and look to see where their boundary is and to see how much they're going to give you until they put their foot down, or to test their patience to see how much they will tolerate. So these boundaries are really important for you to set, as well as respecting the boundaries of others. Libra is such a sign that one of the bad things about this is that they will compromise their own boundaries. They will compromise their own energy to make everyone happy, to make everyone, pleased. But that's not right for the Libra. That's not right for that person to do that, to bear that. And so, you and it's just so weird because like when I did work for this billionaire, I did have, questions did come up. It was like a year-long thing. And I just noticed that everything he would tell me, I would write a one line in an email. One line, keep it. So these people have families, they have friends, they have their own interests, they have, their time is just worth a lot more. And, you show your gratitude by really keeping it like such a bare minimum thing. I would rather literally leave a positive 10-second impression on someone where I was respectful of them and never see them again, as opposed to like spend days and weeks and months and years trying to push myself in front of someone like as much as possible to take up as much of their attention as possible. This is also why I think me being an actress was so like weird, because I learned this when I saw like Los Angeles actresses, like you really have to like push yourself in front of people. Like, and that's so not what I do. So I'm such a better like talking head on the internet. But what they would respond with was always one of two answers. They would always either say, "It's all good," or "whatever you want." Isn't that weird? I think that's so weird. And I noticed it. I really noticed it. I'm like, that's so weird. But they hired me because they trusted me. They hired me because they knew what I was doing. And so when I did have like a question, it was kind of like to give them that like, input or say so or whatever, but they really just like let me run with it. So you want to really think about those boundaries, and you want to think about other people's boundaries, and you want to be very respectful of everyone's boundaries, respecting your own boundaries as well as other people's. It's, like I said, protecting you from any influences that want to exploit you. And even if you see someone that like doesn't have good boundaries, it's still on you to respect their boundaries. Like just be good. You know what I'm saying? Like truth, love, and integrity, man. Like just You know, that's like trusting, just, you know, the benefit of your boundaries, it's more self-respect, it's less stress, it's better relationships. The boundaries basically communicate your needs and expectations effectively. Also, these are just priors, like I haven't really comprised my opinion on this, but I'm kind of changing. I'm just thinking differently about love and relationships in general. Like I'm like conditional and unconditional love. You know, I'm wondering if we're like romantic love, if that's supposed to be conditional, and I'm wondering if familial love is supposed to be unconditional. You know, like I'm wondering if like the romantic relationship is supposed to be like, okay, we're together and I will be in this, I will commit to you, I will stay with you when you meet, you know, as you consistently meet these needs and expectations that I have, and I will do the same for your needs, your expectations. You know, like making that agreement when you make that commitment, but like that's the conditions. Those are the conditions, you know, whether it's like a business partnership, but like the love relationship, like the romantic, I'm wondering if it's like, does it need to be, should it be that way for everyone to kind of be happy? Because when that unconditional energy gets into like a romantic relationship, for me personally, and like I said, I haven't even formed my opinion, these are my priors. It has never worked for me. And I've been thinking, because this year I figured out like how to actually date. And, you know, thinking about it, I was always unconditional, like, woo, you know, but that doesn't work. I mean, it didn't work for me. Did not work for me. It just didn't work. And you know that everything I do spiritually and with everything, it's always results based. Everything I teach you guys, all the energy work, it has to be results based. And I always have you guys test it. All the exercises that I give you, all the things I ask you to do and practice, I tell you, test it, go test it, watch it work for you. And that unconditional love and romantic relationships never worked for me. So I'm opening my mind to just thinking about something different, because that the romance, you know what I'm saying? Like the romance, that sexual attraction, that love, like that, not pedestaling in a bad way, but that like the gossamer of it, you know, like the magic of it. When you're first meeting someone and falling in love, you see everything is so vivid and dramatic, and you feel everything, you know, that first touch is like, whoa, you know, sparks flying, wow, you know. And when it becomes like an unconditional love, it dulls that part of it, and then it like turns where things are still very reactive, but for the negative, like little things bother you way more than they should, and it just feels very different when it changes. And so I'm wondering, I'm just kind of airing it out, thinking about it, because the family, the familial love, maybe unconditional love belongs there. You know, like, hey, come on over, we love you, even though you're a fuck up. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on over. It's okay that you suck, you know, like we'll love you anyway. Come on over, you know. It's like, it's okay to be broken, and you know, it's okay to need a lot of work. It's okay you're super down and out. It's okay that you are falling short of life or whatever. It's okay that you had you fell off the whatever. Like it's okay, you know, like let's, like, come on, the love is here, you know. So I'm wondering, I'm just thinking about it. um but is that so bad to have a romantic relationship that's conditional? Is that bad? Is that a bad thing? Why is it a bad thing? Why is the judgment that that's a bad thing? Why is that bad? I'm just thinking about it. All right. So, all right. So number 4 is practicing detachment. That's like the Libra name of the game, practicing detachment. But I feel like Libras practice detachment like in like the negative, for the negative way. Like all the air signs can do that, can use their powers of detachment to allow bad things to happen. So let's talk about the positivity, how you want to practice detachment. So detachment is letting go of external attachments to outcomes or the opinions of others. Okay? It's about recognizing true happiness is a gift that you give to yourself. It's a gift you give to yourself. It's not at all from external circumstances. It's not, has nothing to do with anybody else. You benefit from that, from practicing detachment in resilience and freedom from external control. What Libra will do is detach from themselves so that they can meet the needs of that other person, or they can meet the needs of a society, meet the needs of societal expectations, or it's from Into the Wild, meet the needs of like social conventions, social norms, and you know, that kind of thing. So you want to use it to detach from external circumstances, external, you know, it frees you from external control, because this Libra stuff, it can be high pressure, really high pressure, people pressuring people for socially superficial reasons, people pressuring people to be very like nicey, or pressuring people to, you know, go along to get along, and pressuring people to compromise too much, compromising their boundaries, compromising just too much. It's too much. And you want to be less attached to these outcomes, because when you're less attached to outcomes, you're less vulnerable to manipulation through promises or through threats. Manipulation through promises, this solar eclipse in Libra, manipulation through threats, the Pluto T-square. And it could even be very subversive. It could be very like nicey on top, and you just feel the undercurrent where it's like, I'm not asking, I'm telling kind of a thing, where it's like, you know what I'm saying? And with like this Libra energy, it could be that there's just, it's almost like bringing something up in the family and never feeling like you have a chance to do it, because maybe it's like, there's always a holiday, there's always someone's birthday, it's always, you know, there's always, every few weeks is a reason for the families and the communities and the social conventions to get together. And when you have that regularly, there's like that consistent social pressure all the time, all the time. And it never lets up, and it never lets you really have like a private moment with your family where you can talk about things, settle things, resolve things, because you got to go to so and so, you got to go to the so and so's birthday party, and you got to put on the, you know, the happy face, and you got to do that. And it just, that builds, that kind of like, that kind of pressure really builds. And so if you practice detachment and you let go of these external social convention things, and it frees you, it really frees you. But this T-square with Pluto is going to put that kind of pressure on. It will be social, it'll be societal, it'll be in personal relationships, family relationships, it'll be, and relationships are about to be the big focus. So this lead up, the week and a half leading up, is clearing out like past things, wrapping up things from the past, so that you really do focus on these important primary relationships, the best, if you're single, the best dating prospects, you know, if you're married, getting the marriage, even if it's great, enjoying it, you know, enjoying it more, really soaking it up. If it's got the fault lines, just working on them, and you know, reinforcing them to make them make the weakness into a strength or something. And then, you know, making any adjustments in the existing relationships, maybe welcoming new relationships, and just changing up the roster. I don't mean roster like the dating roster, I mean a good roster. So part of it that will help you do this confidently, independently, is practicing detachment. Because when you're less attached to outcomes, you're less vulnerable to manipulation through promises. This I can see a lot of sugar coming up. I can see a lot of sugar with this Libra energy. All these promises, everything that just sounds so sparkly, and you know, but don't, if there's something inside of you that feels like that's not a real promise, but you go with it anyway, you're going to feel like you can blame the other person for not keeping that promise, but it's on you because you know deep down. But why are you're giving the power away because you don't want to be blamed for something, or you don't want to look bad, or you don't want to be the one to walk away first, or you know what I'm saying? Like it's just this Plutonian stuff. It's going to be something, some script that we all have personally in our heads about something. Okay, last one, number 5, is embracing adversity. So there's going to be something coming up with these eclipses over the next couple of weeks, you know, with the Pluto T-square, and you want to embrace adversity because challenges are opportunities for growth. And that's what we're all here for. If you're watching astrology, tarot, psychic videos, you are already on the right track. The adversity, the challenges are the chance to develop resilience and wisdom and strength. That's where you make your bones. That's where you really prove to yourself how much you love yourself and how committed to your strength that you are, and how much you love your tenacity, and you learn about yourself, you learn about other people, you learn about your reactions, and you just get better. Just get better and better. And that also, embracing adversity instead of fearing it, makes you less susceptible to being used or manipulated or exploited by others through your vulnerability, the vulnerability being the fear of adversity, the fear of challenges. This is in Crypto Sesh. It's a financial literacy and crypto subclub on my Patreon. Oh, I'm so bad at promoting myself. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. It's so one thing that I in Crypto Sesh, it's not I can't afford that. That's the wrong way to think. It's how can I afford that? Okay, I make $5,000 a month. You know, let me see if I can double that. Maybe I can make $10,000 a month. How can I do that? How can I make $10,000 a month instead of $5,000 a month? It's not I cannot afford it. It's how can I afford it? How can I rise up? How can I, you know, how can I meet that? So the benefit of embracing adversity is that you have a fearless spirit that is hard to exploit. A truly fearless spirit, not ego, not pomp, not, you know, that ego is very ugly, guys, okay? That's not what we're about. Libra's about beauty, okay? But like it has to be like honest, like real beauty. The benefit of embracing adversity, like I said, it makes you fearless in like the healthiest way, because it's really honest and true to you. You have this fearless spirit that's very hard for anyone to exploit. Look at all we've done. We've been taking the power away from all this other stuff and putting it back into yourself so that you cannot be. You don't want anyone to know you better than yourself. If someone sees a weakness in you and can go and exploit that, that's terrible. You become a fearless spirit that is very, very difficult, very hard to exploit, and you become a formidable force in your own life. And that is going to be so great for your self-love and self-respect. Remember, self-love, healthy self-esteem is making promises to yourself and keeping those promises. And it's also a different, it's I'm not going to go down that road. Okay, so the wrap up, the 5 things to practice for this Libra solar eclipse: know your worth, define your values, set your boundaries, practice detachment, and embrace adversity. The South Node, the flush today, it's a big hit today. So today will be a very important day to flush all the stuff keeping you from holistic, healthy self-esteem and relationships. And then it's going to be even more of a focus after October the 14th to release and let go of traits in yourself, characteristics in yourself, weaknesses in yourself, but then also any relationships that have been benefiting from you not knowing yourself, relationships that benefit from you not having good boundaries, relationships that exploit your kindness or your willingness to compromise or your sweetness, letting go of relationships that disrespect your values or your worth, or create challenges for you that make your life harder. So that's the thing, guys. When you, if any of you are like dealing with like powerful people with this Pluto energy, and I'm talking specifically to the rest of my Capricorn and Cancer people, because that's one of the things that Pluto brought when Pluto crossed my sun. It was like I was dealing with billionaires and psychopaths. So two complete opposite ends of the powerful person spectrum, and it was such an intense like onslaught of it. So if you have late degree Capricorn in your life, you may think about that. You may have both ends of the spectrum of powerful people in your life showing up, where they could be empowering you. So in my case, the billionaire, they were empowering me. They were really helping me. And then there's going to be people and circumstances and thoughts and relationships that are trying to disempower you and take your power away. So for me, it was it was actually two psychopaths. It was someone I was a Hollywood person. Actually, they were both Hollywood people. Oh my God. Wow. Wow. So there's like good, powerful Hollywood people, and then there's of course like the absolute evil, powerful Hollywood people. But there's going to be both working on you. And I have had clients that have had Pluto like right on their sun, and I see it in their life. So they had me empowering them, but almost always, like 99% of the time, they would succumb to the controlling force. But that's because they're locked up in some kind of ego battle. So one of the great things would be to release ego battles and caring what people think about you. And that is a detachment. That is a practice detachment thing, to rely on external circumstances or external validation. You give that to yourself. You give that validation to yourself. And don't be afraid of changing your relationships to level them up to where everyone's being respected. Don't be afraid of losing don't be afraid of even like losing societies or losing communities, losing groups of people, losing relationship. Like, just don't be afraid of any kind of loss, because that's not the way you should be thinking, and that lack mentality. And that when it won't be loss for everybody. For some people, it'll just be the loss of that kind of dynamic in the relationship. So if the relationship is very good and strong, this is a wonderful opportunity to really, it'll push to the surface any of those underlying ugly things, that are under the surface. So Pugsley Wednesday, normally maybe it's all honky-dory, but this baby coming home brings out even more of the worst in them. So, maybe you need to see the worst in these relationships so that it can be exorcised and released and let go of, and to rebalance. What I'm calling it spanking our scales, because it's like making them equal, making them even, so that you're feeling good about yourself, so that you're feeling good about your relationships, and that you feel good about the other person being themselves and them being in a relationship with you. So I think that's like the biggest thing about this eclipse is Pluto T-squaring it. Everything else is kind of minor. Like I said, the Mercury with this solar eclipse is going to help everyone think more fairly and think more balanced. And if you guys have if you try to for instance, set a boundary and someone's mad, they don't have a good reaction to it, then you know that they benefit from you not having good boundaries. If you're trying to take more time for yourself and someone is used to having so much access to you and so much time with you, and they resent you pulling back, red flag, very big red flag. So, oh my God. Okay. I got a download last night as I was trying to fall asleep, and it's this, and I saw the sun card. So she gave me the sun card. So we're going to do your tarot. And if the sun card, if it's a psychic slip and the psychic, we get the sun card, then I tell you what the download is. And I tell you what I have to tell you. but if we do not get the sun card, then it's for something else or someone else, not something else. It's for maybe like one of the weeklies, or like, you know, it's maybe or meant for like another time. So let's take a look at the tarot and see what we can expect for my people at the solar eclipse. Ooh, Ace of Pentacles, Pentacles, reaching with their tentacles for the pentacles. Okay, so Ace of Pentacles, it looks like a beautiful financial opportunity or a wonderful idea, and it looks very deserved. The white lilies of pure thought are in the VIP garden, so pure thinking, pure thoughts and actions and manifestations, and you know, it all trickles down. That's what temperance is when you have purified your subconscious, purified these thoughts, and that's what you're doing leading up to the eclipse, is purging and releasing anything that's kind of impure, you know, whether that's prejudgments, thinking the worst about someone, letting someone, you know, overstep your boundary, whatever it is, right? You purify the subconscious so that when it becomes action in the golden cup and the temperance card, that you don't lose anything, and that it's very, very cohesive. So pure thinking, good thinking, positive thinking could bring great ideas or financial opportunities. Do this on camera so you can see. 3 cards. We've got the 2 of Cups. Ooh, we've got the 2 of Cups, the Page of Cups, and the World. Okay, so I'm so sorry this has turned into a podcast. I have to figure this out. Okay, so the World, the Page of Cups, and the 2 of Cups. I love this for relationships. This is exactly what you want to see. This is coming like this is like a graduation moment. This is something coming full circle. It's very sweet. It feels very safe. It feels like a really great friendship, to be honest. Or if this is a love relationship, then you have a great rapport. You have a great, you know, feeling between you, and you know, there may be something really exciting or something very excited that you're both excited for. Last card out is the 3 of Cups. Wow, 3 of Cups. Okay, a lot of cups, so it's a very emotionally heightened time, and that makes sense because it's an eclipse window. So this speaks to friends. This is your VIP little, like, your own people. This is your people. This is like, you know, your nearest and dearest. These are the friends that, like, the close friends, you know, just like a couple of you. You honestly just need like a couple of people in your, like a couple main people in your life. And, you know, you don't really need like freaking something is seen. All right, so bottom of the deck, we have the Knight of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles. Ooh, and the Star. I love this. How beautiful. So more pentacles giving us clues as to the financial. This is like a very lucrative new beginning for you. You could be starting a new job under this eclipse. You could be working with new people that will become lifelong friends under this eclipse. You could be creating some of the best work that you've got for yourself under this eclipse. Overall, this is becoming really great at something, really honing your skills and being very inspired to, you know, do your best or best your own personal best with this 8 of Pentacles. So I love this inspiration. I love the motivation. I love the drive, and it's very excited. It's very excitable. Let's clarify. Let's take a look at this Ace of Pentacles. I think I'm going to stop using OBS. Okay, if anyone, I think I'm going to stop using OBS. This lag is just killing me. Like, these headaches are killing me. Guys, oh my god. I had such a freak out not practicing TK for so long, and I am just so I had to let go and let God on that. I am like, God bless it, mother of pearl. All right, let's take a look at this Ace of Pentacles. Ooh, feisty. Ooh, and I have to take it because it's bottom of the deck and we have a double here. It's a Three of Cups. Three of Cups and the Seven of Wands. Okay, so this is very spicy, the Seven of Wands. This is very, very spicy. This is like, and it connects with the Three of Cups. This is like having a competitive advantage. Ooh, that's what it is. Okay, so there's someone that you probably already know, or you may meet them over the eclipse and they may feel very familiar to you. They may feel like you've known them a long time, or they just may feel like a bestie even though you just met them. That's like a karmic thing. That's you've known them in a past life. But this speaks to one of these people, someone close to you, a good friend, is what it looks like. Someone in your, but it's like a close circle, has a wonderful, you and these people have the golden egg, and it will need defending. It will need protection. There is some kind of competitive advantage that you have when the alchemy brings you together. Maybe it's like the Three Musketeers or something with the threes. But it's like it will be like there is something that's, I don't know if it's the judgments or if it's like competition. I don't know what the circumstances specifically, but it is competitive. There is something competitive that you have the advantage in and over, but it's through like your people, like your close people. So I love this because I feel like everyone's on the same page. Oh my God, you guys. Okay, so this is another thing about the eclipse. Okay, I'm gonna give you what Rob Reiner said. Okay, Rob Reiner said that there are two love stories, there are two kinds of love stories. There's the Roman Catholic love story, and then there's the Jewish love story. I freaking love him so much. So the Roman Catholic love story is like Romeo and Juliet, where they're on the same page. Romeo loves Juliet, Juliet loves Romeo, but it's like external circumstances, it's society, it's their families that are keeping them apart. That's one love story, that people can't be together because of external circumstances. And then he talks about the Jewish love story. Um, the Jewish love story is these two people, they could be neighbors, they could be very close already. No external opposition. There is no war going on. There is no one keeping these people apart. There is no external obstacle to these two people being together. They're just maybe neurotic, or they cannot get on the same page. These two people, there's nothing stopping them from being together except both of them in their minds or hearts or whatever. And it's just so funny. So it's like, what I love about this is that like you and your people are on the same page. So look for the people where it's naturally, easily, organically like on the same page. Like, okay, we're the same kind of animal. We think the same. We're on the same. We got the same vibe, and that is what you want to incubate and protect. Like this does demand like a boundary. A boundary. I don't know what it's to keep out, but it's like just protect it. Just protect that good vibe. All right, let's take a look at the World, the Page of Cups, and the Two of Cups. I was so surprised the download came in. I was really surprised at that. Okay. Ooh, very spicy again. You have the Five of Cups and the Wheel of Fortune. So this energy speaks to pulling the focus away from a loss or a lack or a disappointment or a mark or a damage or a hit to the bond. You know, something might have happened, something might have been disappointing, someone may have made a mistake, someone may have, you know, but it's like it gets healed, it's water under the bridge now, and it could happen very fast with the Wheel of Fortune. And I would say this could be if something between two people might have happened to damage the bond. This could be the eclipse that allows you to move forward quickly, emotionally, where you feel good about the whole thing and everyone's like happy and kumbaya and there's closure and there's success and happiness. However, if this is going to happen through the eclipse, that there is some kind of disappointment, or like you lose someone, or you lose the quality, something happens to the bond, then it means that you can turn that in your favor, that that is benefiting you, and that a different relationship could blossom. And you are able to put your focus in that different, friendship or whatever, because you're no longer losing your energy into a bond or an emotional connection that wasn't fulfilling you, or that wasn't equal, or that wasn't something. So it looks good either way. Okay, let's take a look at the Three of Cups. I might have to change all of those live streams. Ooh, I might have to change all those live streams to take it off of OBS. So we shall see. Okay, you have 3 poppers. How interesting. All right, you have the Empress, the Two of Pentacles, and the High Priestess. To clarify the Three of Cups. Yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to do like regular live stream from like YouTube. Thank you for bearing with me. All right, so the Empress, Two of Pentacles, and the High Priestess to clarify. This is very interesting. And it leads over to the Ace of Pentacles. It leads over to this financial opportunity. You really want to listen to your intuition about your people at this eclipse. You really want to listen to your intuition about who you can trust and who is not trustworthy, and who really has your best interest at heart. Because even if you trust someone, even if it's someone like a spiritual advisor, or a mentor, or a therapist, or a best friend, or a spouse, or a 30-year-long business partner, I don't care how close to you they are, that is still wise counsel, but it's external. It's still external. I'll consider what you're saying. I'll consider it. Those people that you trust, you allow them to speak on your life. You allow them an opinion on your life. You allow them a perspective into your life through permission. And that's still, I'll consider, but you allow that with your permission, with your consent, because your boundaries keep people, your boundary is what keeps your, if you're not friends with like your nail tech, then that boundary keeps that nail tech from commenting on your personal life, or it keeps someone that you've hired to do your website from talking about your marriage and your married life. And you know what I'm saying? So it's like, so the people that you do decide to trust, and the people that you do decide to give permission to remark about your personal life and your inner world, is still just for your consideration. You ultimately have to have this really strong best friend relationship with yourself as a unique individual, because you cannot give that external validation away to the therapist, or the spiritual guru person, or whoever. It still has to be knowing your worth, defining your values, setting your boundaries, practicing detachment, embracing adversity. Everything else is like a submission to your consideration. So this guidance with this High Priestess, like maybe it's someone very spiritual or whatever, but I'm not getting that. I'm getting that this is you with your intuition. And this is what builds self-trust. Doing all these things and really being conscious of all this stuff and building your core values and like all these things, it's making you trust yourself to make decisions in your life, because you've thought about it, because you've done your due diligence, and because you have healthy self-esteem, and because you know what I'm saying? So, and listen, self-trust and healthy self-esteem and being confident, it doesn't make you infallible. That's not the point. It makes you wise. That's the point. That even when something doesn't go your way, or you do make a mistake, that it doesn't mar your self-esteem or self-confidence, because you made the best decision that you could with what you had, with the information you had at that level of consciousness. and that you really thought about it and you tried really hard. And even if it, goes sideways, you still have this attitude of embracing adversity and learning. And because you have good values, that you value truth, love, integrity, wisdom, temperance, that it doesn't knock you down to make a mistake. You know that it only makes you stronger. It makes you wiser. It makes you better. It makes you more fearless. It makes you more authentic. It makes you more resilient. So trust yourself no matter what. Trust yourself no matter what, even learning through mistakes and forgiving yourself, not being too hard on yourself, and having your own core values and goals, because this High Priestess with the Empress and the Two of Pentacles does speak to making some adjustments and changes with these friends or with this like little core group of people. This is like a little wolf pack. I feel like this is like a little, like a couple of people, like a skeleton crew, of your short film that you do with like you and like two other people or something like this. It's very, but what you all do together is something that could be really lucrative. I'm getting such a big money thing here. Oh my God. Oh, Michael Corleone's here. I just noticed this King of Cups is right on top of the Wheel of Fortune. Where did he come from? All right, so now it's the it's the Empress, the Two of Pentacles, the High Priestess, and the King of Cups. How interesting. Okay, so yes, everything I just said, plus there's one of these individuals. Maybe this is you, maybe this is somebody else, but someone in the group is really, really emotionally mature. And this is a very quiet person. This is someone that definitely really considers things and knows their own mind and heart and feelings before they do anything, before they take action. They're a very responsible steward, and maybe even like of resources, or a steward of this might even be someone that sets the emotional tone of a group, providing some kind of like emotional or spiritual leadership. And when I say spiritual leadership, I mean keeping a positive attitude, not losing your nerve at the oh my God, the test. Oh, was that the test? Yeah. Not losing your nerve at the last minute. I'm wondering if you can still see me. This is a test of the National Wireless Emergency Alert System. The purpose is to maintain and improve alert and warning capabilities at the federal, state, local, and tribal and territorial levels, and to evaluate the nation's public alert and warning capabilities. No action is required by the public. Whew. We read the omens here on Watch Natalie and at the 𝚑𝚘𝚗𝚗. So that literally happened when I was speaking the words to not lose your nerve at the last minute, when I was talking about leadership, someone setting the spiritual tone, emotional leadership of a group. So if there's a national emergency, this is someone you can trust. If there is anything going on, if there's a catalyzing event, if there's a calamity, this is the person you want, because they're a King of Cups, and they're going to emotionally and spiritually keep their cool under any and all circumstances. And this is like someone you can really trust to go into battle with. You can really trust this person to like maintain. Thanks, Johnny. Okay. Yeah, this is someone that you can trust to go into battle with. This is someone that you can trust to maintain their composure and to maintain their like emotional equilibrium. So even if there is like a freaking blasting loud alert or something going on, or if there's like some kind of calamity, or, anything that goes down, they got it. They got it locked down. And then that's because, maybe that's you. Maybe you are going to take this last, week and a half, if you're watching this before October 14th, to know your worth, define your values, set your boundaries, practice detachment, and embrace adversity. Maybe you become that King of Cups, Michael Corleone. What does he say in the movie? That you think about every single person, like really know your man, and you imagine everything, you got the whole picture. That is someone that knows everyone in the room, because he knows everyone's weaknesses. He knows, so if you're at a business meeting, everyone's looking at who is the most self-composed person? This is that emotionally mature person, this Michael Corleone, this King of Cups. But self-mastery. Because when you're, and this isn't just like billionaires and people, this is like mafia people too. This is anyone in power. They are looking to see if someone has, addiction, or if they have different weaknesses, if they are susceptible to things. Do they have a crutch? Do they, you go to the party, oh, I quit smoking, I'm not going to smoke. But then 2.5 hours later and 2 mimosas in, they're outside on the porch smoking a cigarette. Okay, maybe they're going to be judging that person as a little bit of a weaker will. Maybe it just takes a little bit to really push them or to make them compromise themselves. So this is that King of Cups is a person that can see that of every single person in the room, like a Michael Corleone. And they are going to be able to make the best decisions for the group, for the success of the team. I don't know if this is like a business or whatever, but knowing that and respecting everyone, this is what we mean about the South Node in Libra, letting go of subconscious judgments. Don't judge people just because they have some kind of weakness or susceptibility or whatever. It's treating everyone with respect, even if they're not treating themselves with respect. Okay. All right, let's just last but not least get your moonology. Any last little guidance for this? Thank you. That was fast. All right, bottom of the deck, the end of a tough cycle approaches, full moon in Capricorn. That's very true as we build up to the eclipse. This is the end of a tough cycle. And the eclipse is going to birth a new, fresh cycle, but easy to release and let go of all of the things that were keeping you, sort of locked up. But it'll be a test of your self-mastery. So think about everything I just said about this King of Cups. Apply that to the Pluto squaring this eclipse, because everyone's going to be sort of like, maybe it's a fear that grips you. Maybe it's like performance anxiety. Maybe it's an external event or circumstance, whatever it is. But use this last waning full moon in Aries to really purge out and purge. And then your popper is the energy is gaining momentum, waxing moon energy. So it's like we're fleshing things out, building up to getting ready for the solar eclipse. But the air is like edgy because something is, you just feel change coming. So yes, some energy is gaining momentum while other energy is closing out and we're done, wrapping up some kind of past thing. So I hope that you guys feel extremely empowered and supported and encouraged and confident about this solar eclipse in Libra. It is, as always, an honor to serve you and to serve the collective. And just remember, write it down, know your worth, define your values, set your boundaries, practice detachment, and embrace adversity. And I will see you guys again soon. Until then, my lovelies, many beautiful blessings upon all of your